Right now to our viewers of Equinoxe Television, it's time for the news. We thank you so much for joining us. Right away we begin with Her Majesty's 3 Cameroonians are among the victims who died in a shipwreck which happened in Turkey. They are among the victims who died as they were on their way for greener pasture that was in Greece. We made a stopover at the family residence of one of the victims here in Douala. They say they are still in shock and very inconsolable. Plus several victims of the road accident which occurred on the Kumba-Boya highway, precisely around Mabonji in the southwest region of the country, are in very critical states. At least 4 of them are in need of a major operation to survive, but the local authorities say they would have government assistance somehow. Viewers, those are our major stories. Stay with us for details and more. Welcome back, viewers. Thank you so much for joining us on this edition of the news. We just told you a while ago in our major stories that some of the victims of the road accidents which occurred on the Boya-Kumba highway, precisely at Mabonji, are said to be battling for their lives. As we speak, 4 of them will undergo an operation to survive, and the senior divisional officer for the Meme, during a visit to the victims in hospital, said the injured will be assisted by the government somehow. Smart Njikan Gabriel completes the story for us.
On the veranda of the regional hospital annex in Kumba are wounded passengers who were involved in an accident on the Kumba-Mabonji stretch of road. There were 26 of them who were brought to the hospital for first aid to be done on them. Amongst those who came to give words of encouragement to the victims of the accident was Meme's senior divisional officer, Ntundong Shambalin.
47 person has been taken to Kumba National Hospital Annex. 1 died, 2 children, and the remaining still under care medication. I'm going to reassure all the victims that the state will continue to take care of them. You can see today how all the medical team have been mobilized. They are seriously taking care of them.
Some of the victims we met on their hospital bed say they can't actually tell what went wrong before this accident occurred. I discovered how the bus was tumbling down the valley after it must have gone down the valley before some 2 men came and carried me to the road. At the hospital, I was administered injections, drips, and an X-ray was also done on me.
At the time, they don't make me X-ray, give me injection, put me drips. I feel small better. With a small pencil, they want me.
I'm feeling a bit better. I'm feeling a bit better. But the point is that, I've asked to go to Limbe for scanning because this feels like this. And then some side pain. That's how it is. Sure.
According to the senior divisional officer of Meme, Ntundong Shambalin, the road which could have contributed to the accident will be taken care of in the days ahead.
Let me first of all reassure the Meme people that the delegate of public works will be sent there, because I cannot understand that last night we had another accident there. This morning having another one. It means that perhaps there is a serious problem there which is supposed to be worked by the competent authority, means the General Delegation of Public Works. The Minister of Public Works is going to assist in that for that action.
At the time of this report, 4 of the victims who had serious fractures have been programmed to undergo surgery in the course of the day, while 14 other victims are responding to treatment at the regional hospital annex in Kumba. The accident that left 1 dead and over 15 injured occurred along Kumba-Mabonji stretch of road when an inter-urban bus that left Kumba en route to Chang in the west region fell off into a valley as the driver is alleged to have encountered a mechanical fault.
A quick recovery there to the victims. And still on a sad note, 3 Cameroonians and many other African nationals who were on their way to Europe have died after their ship sank in Turkey. The Cameroonian ambassador to Turkey in a communique says the corpses have been deposited at the Ismi mortuary and those Cameroonians were going to Greece for greener pastures. Immaculate Fogwe visited one of the families here in Douala of the victims and compiled this report for the news.
Family members of Emilienne Etonti in shock after the news of the demise of their daughter and sister. The lady in her 30s died in a shipwreck in Turkey while on her way to Greece in Europe. She was not connected for several days, so we got worried. We had to call one of her friends living in France to contact some of those she traveled with. It was then that she was informed that she died after drowning in the sea. Family members say she was on her way to seek greener pastures when an unfortunate incident occurred. They decry the high unemployment rate in Cameroon, which is pushing many youths to take this perilous journey. Look at me, I am home despite having certificates. I have deposited my documents in several companies, but no one has called for me. This is what is pushing youths to take this dangerous journey. Cameroon's ambassador to Turkey, Victor Chatuo, in a communique, states that 3 Cameroonians, 2 women and a man, died after their boat sank in the southwest coast of Turkey in the night of Monday, March 13 to Tuesday, March 14, 2023. Their remains have been deposited at the Ismi mortuary. The embassy notes that the identification process of the corpses are still ongoing while urging relatives to send documents or photos that can facilitate the research being conducted. Meanwhile, the family of Emilienne Etonti are currently taking measures to ensure that their corpse arrives Cameroon.
And today, March 23, is being commemorated as the World Meteorological Day under the theme Future of Weather, Climate and Water Across Generations. It comes at a time when towns and cities in Cameroon are hit by natural catastrophes. Meeting in Douala, the stakeholders discussed on how to help the city council better handle the recurrent floods during the rainy season. Innocent Azet tells us more.
Dealing with all national and international problems related to climate and weather change is the goal of the World Meteorological Day put in place by the World Meteorological Organization, WMO, on March 23, 1950. Meeting in Douala on the occasion of World Meteorological Day, the actors want to prevent during the rainy season a deadly and destructive catastrophe in Douala.
For the Douala City Council, in order to avoid what happened in Boya last week, first of all, it's better for everybody to know that the Douala City Council have a city master plan which gives orientation as far as land occupation is concerned. Before the deliverance of any urbanism act, the Douala City Council go to the field in order to appreciate where the site is located. If the site is in a swampy area or in a very high slopes, we cannot deliver any urbanism act.
Questioning on why floods are recurrent in the city of Douala, a stakeholder raises insufficient resources at the disposal of the city council to manage the yearly phenomenon.
The city of Douala is very attractive, and unfortunately, the city council don't have all the means to intervene everywhere. So it's the fact that you can see people who continue to build their house where such construction are not allowed. So when we are carrying out projects such as the Douala drainage project, just finished a few years ago, we had to destroy some houses in order to allow water to flow normally.
It was also an opportunity to sensitize the population of Douala on the dangers of climate risk. The theme for 2023 World Meteorological Day is the future of weather, climate, and water across generations.
Thank you, Innocent. As in the second part of the news, we will be coming back to discuss about natural catastrophes and how they can be avoided. Now we talk something else. Poor states of roads, insecurity, and lack of drainage systems are some of the problems faced by the local population of Bonaberi here in Douala. The people of the Douala 4 municipality, most of whom are internally displaced persons, complain that their houses are always inundated whenever it rains heavily in the capital city, the economic capital city, Douala. Some of the complaints were addressed today by the mayor of the Douala 4 municipality during a council session that took place in Bonaberi. Lucy Liengu is here was there.
The Douala 4 municipality, according to the inhabitants, is faced with challenges such as insecurity, lack of drainage systems for the circulation of water, and poor road constructions.
The issue of drainage, the issue of insecurity, the issue of water, the issue of roads, especially the roads of Mambanda. There are some roads in Mambanda, especially where you call Shiko, where the roads are bad. From Washington going inside, from Calicut going to inside Washington, they face the difficulty of roads. So we are calling the intention of the mayor to put it inside into his budget.
The conflict in the northwest and southwest regions has led to an increase in the number of displaced persons now settled in the Douala 4 subdivision, which shares a considerable proximity with the southwest region.
And when we talk about the issue of IDPs, the internal displaced persons from the northwest and southwest due to the Anglophone crisis, most of them don't have their personal document like ID card, birth certificate, and most of them are always detained, what we call rafle in the evening. They are always taken and put in cells, which is something bad, so that they have their personal document, because most of their documents were born in the northwest and southwest region of our country.
During the council session chaired by the mayor of the Douala 4 municipality, the socio-political and economic challenges of the Douala 4 municipality were discussed.
Cette session, comme vous le savez, se tient dans un contexte socio-économique particulier, marqué par des événements tels que le lancement du budget sur le plan national, qui a eu lieu, comme par coïncidence, dans la ville de Douala.
At the end of the session, a budget of about 2,228 million francs CFA was voted. The budget, according to the mayor, will help in addressing the problems of the municipality throughout the year 2023.
In other news, civil society actors in Cameroon say the government of the country might have to move a little faster with the reconstruction and development of the crisis-hit northwest and southwest regions. They were speaking to Equinoxe television after the chairman of the project steering committee, Minister Ebune Confiance, said a lot has been done in the two English-speaking regions of the country. Babila Jonathan completes the story.
Over 3 years after Cameroon's head of state Paul Biya instituted the presidential plan for the reconstruction and development of the crisis-stricken northwest and southwest regions, PPRD, civil society leaders monitoring the situation in the two regions expressed concerns over the level of execution. They say very little has been done in some urban centers and nothing at all in several affected areas in the hinterlands.
They have saying that I've been rebuilding. The first phase have passed. We are not seeing it. We are not seeing it. We are not seeing it. You have gone to Kwakwa, you have gone to Ekumbe, you have gone to Small Ekumbe, B Ekumbe, Nake, Bole, you have been there. And you have been there even in all these areas. Where are the houses that have been reconstructed? The first is the houses.
They have burned people's houses. Let them carry out statistics of the houses that were burned and reconstruct people's houses so that people will be able to go back to their houses. We talk about reconstruction. We have not seen so many schools that have been destroyed, so many hospitals that have been destroyed, so many roads that are bad. And some of these roads that are bad, I think that if the military also can be put forth, want the military engineering to construct some of these roads.
The Director of Cabinet at the Prime Minister's Office, chairperson of the steering committee of the PPRD, is on the ground, taking stock of what has been done so far at some project sites in the Fako division.
One of the major reasons of this mission was not only to do an evaluation, but also for the population, the beneficiary populations, to be at the forefront to appropriate this project.
From Boya to Bakingili, Minister Balungeli Confiance Ebune points out that much has been done, even in other parts of the southwest region and also the northwest region.
Many did not believe in this project, but today we see the enthusiasm, we see the satisfaction of the beneficiaries. A good number of the projects we visited have been realized, and a few others are still in the pipeline, and many more things to come.
To the civil society leaders, what has already been done is insignificant compared to the destruction recorded for the past 6 years across the northwest and southwest regions.
The reconstruction plans, they have not really done enough, though they have done some work. I think that we need a lot of tangible work in the field, especially in the northwest and the southwest.
Minister Ebune Confiance has once again urged separatist fighters to drop their guns so that hostilities can stop, normalcy restored, and the reconstruction and development plan fast-tracked.
And now we take you out of the country. Russia has written off African countries' debt amounting to more than $20 billion. The declaration was made by Russian President Vladimir Putin during a Russian-African parliamentary conference. The move seen by observers as strives to build alliances in Africa. For me, Armstrong Sander is a man on that beat.
Coming within a context characterized by worsening ties between Russia and the West, the announcement from President Vladimir Putin is seen as a move to build alliances and strengthen ties within the African continent. Speaking at an international parliamentary conference titled Russia-Africa in a Multipolar World, Vladimir Putin said Russia has written off the debts of African states worth more than $20 billion.
Подчеркну, наша страна всегда уделяла и будет уделять первостепенное внимание сотрудничеству с африканскими государствами.
Vladimir Putin said that the trade turnover between Russia and African countries is growing every year, reaching $18 billion in 2022.
Не будет преувеличением сказать, что это один из неизменных приоритетов российской внешней политики. Если мы все-таки примем решение не продлять эту сделку через 60 суток, то мы готовы весь тот объем, который был направлен за предыдущее время в особо нуждающиеся страны Африки, поставить из России в эти страны.
As if encouraging Africans on the need to have their currency, Putin also said that he believes that the development of counter-commodity exchanges will be facilitated by a more energetic transition in financial settlements to national currencies and the establishment of new transport and logistics chains. He further said that additional opportunities are opened by the process of establishing the African Continental Free Trade Area, which began in 2021. Russia, he said, is in favor of establishing ties with the African Continental Free Trade Area, both through the Eurasian Economic Union and on a bilateral level, adding that Africa will become one of the leaders of the multipolar world.
Dear viewers, that was what we put together for you on the first part of the news, but don't go away. Talking Points comes up next, so stay with us. Welcome back. Our guest tonight is Peggy Manga Fidelis. He is of the Worldwide Fund for Nature. Peggy, thank you so much for accepting to be our guest on Talking Point tonight. Today we are talking about natural catastrophes or disasters and how they can be avoided prevented or how they can be controlled. And recently you told us that we read online that you people are in a campaign somehow which has to do with protecting the earth. We know that when the earth is protected, it means natural disasters or natural catastrophes can also be avoided or controlled better. What is it all about, Peggy? First of all, thank you so much for accepting to be our guest tonight.
This opportunity to answer some few questions from your very highly reputed TV channel. For the past 50 years, nature has been facing a lot of challenges. In fact, we are losing nature, biodiversity, especially wildlife, at an alarming rate. We have lost 69% of biodiversity between 1970 and 2016. This is a huge loss for nature and a huge loss for humankind. That is why we have all the reactions we're seeing from nature, be it the earthquake that took place in Syria and Turkey, that led to the death of almost more than 50,000 people, be it the recent floods in Boya, caused as a result of runoffs from the mountain, killing 2 people and destroying property. That is the challenge that we are facing today in the world as far as nature is concerned, because we human beings have been destroying nature at an alarming rate. We have been cutting down trees, we have been killing animals, we have been destroying vast expanse of forest landscape to build infrastructure for agriculture and for to be our home. So this is what has led to what we are facing today with the environment. And we think that it is time that we took action to protect nature, because nature is our life support system. The air we breathe, the food we eat, the water we drink, the medicine, all come from nature. And if we don't do something, nature is going to react, and when it reacts, we get the consequences that we are facing today: loss of life and property.
And now, Peggy Manga, can you tell us what are some of the activities usually carried out by man to destroy nature, leading to natural catastrophes, and how can human beings be stopped?
I think that what is happening, what has been happening to the world, especially in Cameroon, is linked to the way we interact with nature. Like I said, nature is our life support system. Once nature is affected negatively, it will have consequences on human beings. For example, if you clear down the forest around Mount Cameroon, you're exposing nature, you're exposing the soil to heavy rain, and that is likely to cause flooding, because once there is a forest cover somewhere, there is a possibility that the degree or the volume of water that comes when it rains is held a bit by the forest canopy, so it drops, it percolates gradually and penetrates the soil. But once the soil is exposed, the rain falls and there is a runoff, so that already has a huge impact. When you build in waterways, when you don't respect urban planning and building norms, and you build a house in say a marshy area, the likelihood of flooding, the likelihood of your house being flooded is very high. So the way we are treating nature, the way we interact with nature is contributing a lot to flooding, to zoonotic diseases, that are transmitted from animals to people, like Ebola, for example. Those are diseases that are transmitted, and because we have encroached into the natural habitats of these animals and we have come very close to them. So this contributes to transmission of some of these zoonotic diseases. So we need to respect nature. We need to respect the general patterns of things. Where we are not supposed to be, let us not be. Where we are supposed to evacuate when in times of disaster, let us leave those areas. If we don't do so, we're still going to face the same challenges. We have been losing biodiversity at a very alarming rate. We can't count the number of elephants we have lost in the last 10 years. Thousands of elephants have been lost. And elephants play a very important role in the ecosystem. They are the bulldozers of the forest. They are the tree dispersers. They have very huge role they play in the forest. So once we are losing this biodiversity, chances are we are going to have impact. The impact will fall back on us. So we are the causes of biodiversity loss. And for this to stop, we need to take action to stop further loss of biodiversity. And this is why
And now, Peggy, let's be a little more precise. Let's now talk detailing a little about the flooding in Boya, which led to the loss of lives of at least 2 persons, and also in Yaoundé, where several neighborhoods were inundated recently. That was yesterday because of after heavy rains. And can all of those disasters be linked to the degradation of the environment, and what can be done to prevent such occurrences?
So as we reflect on the biggest hour for the earth, for the planet, our hearts go to those who have lost loved ones and property during all the different natural disasters that have occurred so far in 2023. And we believe that as human beings, we have the capacity to be able to turn things around and put nature on the path to recovery. We understand very well that we need to develop different countries. We need to build infrastructures, road, bridges, seaports. We need to cultivate food to be able to feed the 8 billion people that are living on planet Earth today. But for this to be done, in order not to harm nature, it has to be done in a more sustainable way. So that is what WWF is trying to promote, or is promoting today. We need to build sustainably, we need to build green, we need to cultivate green, so that by the time we are leaving the planet, our children and their children should be able to inherit a planet that is healthy for humanity and healthy for nature itself. So all what we are doing today, all the actions we are taking today, will have impact on the planet. And for this to be forestalled, we need to make sure that at every given point, human beings are aware of the danger. That we are sometimes consuming more than what we are producing. We have what we call the earth overshoot. This is a period in the year where we have already consumed the earth's resources to capacity, and we need to allow the earth to regenerate. So all this must be done for us to live in harmony with nature, and we can only live in harmony with nature if we work together. So together it's possible.
And now, what concrete action can you tell us it's your organ taking to ensure that the earth is better protected?
In concrete actions on the ground, one of such action is protection of wildlife and ensuring that sensitive biodiversity hotspots are protected. So we have a vast program in collaboration with the Ministry of Forestry and Wildlife, and Ministry of Environment, and even the Ministry of Social Affairs, to make sure that government policies, government actions of community, of people, are contributing to protect biodiversity and ensuring the well-being of human beings. That's what we're talking about, together possible and living in harmony with nature. So we have projects that engage agriculture of farmers on how to grow cocoa. It will engage agro industries on how to carry out palm oil cultivation without necessarily destroying the forest. We have a project on forest landscape restoration that enables us to work with communities, to work with government and other partners to restore degraded landscape. You know that Cameroon in 2017, Cameroon was part of the Bond Challenge, during which the government of Cameroon, through the Ministry of Environment and the Ministry of Forests and Wildlife, pledged to restore 12.5 million hectares of forests, especially in the north. 80% of this forest will be in the restoration will take place in the north. So we're actually part of this process, part of this project, and we are carrying out restoration actions. We are working with communities to set up community forestry and ensure that the local people are benefiting from the forest resources while contributing to the sustainable management of this forest. We have a project that focuses on people because human well-being is part of our stock in trade. So we're working with indigenous people, we're working with local communities to ensure that benefit sharing is ensured, to make sure that people have access to natural resources and their rights to these resources are respected, and they are also contributing to the protection of nature while benefiting from natural resources.
Thank you so much, Peggy Manga Fidelis, for accepting to talk to us on Talking Point tonight about how natural catastrophes can be prevented by protecting the earth, thereby protecting or preserving the environment. We will be happy to talk more with you on what the Earth Hour is all about. That would be maybe in our subsequent editions. Thank you once again, and hope to have you some other time. Viewers, we thank you so much for always being there. Stay with us on Equinoxe Television. Bye-bye for now.
Equinoxe Télévision, au-delà de l'image, nous rendons compte. De lundi à